It's all about the once empowered, always empowered principle that government and the South African mining sector have been fighting over for several years now. Gwede Mantashe has changed his mind.
Certainly an about turn by the minister. Early in the month he came out publicly and stated that they wouldn't appeal the judgment. I think it's somewhat unexpected, but perhaps not unsurprising. And the reason why I say that is because although the judgment related to the 2010 Charter, it has clear implications going forward for Mining Charter 3 negotiations.
There's another view, one that possibly suggests a strategic repositioning.
So I suspect that part of this appeal is strategic, and it's to bring a bit of balance into the playing field while the negotiations are ongoing on Mining Charter 3. And of course there are some substantial issues from the judgment that this appeal will address. It's not a broad-based appeal.
But what about the current negotiations on Mine Charter 3? Legal appeals, once granted, take time, and there are bound to be more challenges. This may affect the mineral minister's timetable and possibly create more uncertainty.
I don't believe from a chamber point of view that this is being regarded as entirely negative, and I don't believe that it's going to impact on the timelines. The commitment has been given to the timeline. This is strategic, and it's impacting on, in my view, perceptions on the one hand and one or two very narrow legal points from the judgment.
The appeal, as we understand it, is narrow in that the Chamber has publicly announced that it's specifically in relation to the validity and enforceability and not necessarily in relation to the ownership issue, which I think may give investors some comfort that security of tenure in relation to the existing rights will be protected and not affected by the appeal.
Analysts agree, though, that clarity is needed for current and future investors.
Mining Charter 3, as it currently stands, doesn't protect existing rights. And so that's the important thing. I think that's what the Chamber's been arguing, that we must protect existing rights going forward. But any new rights should be subject to the new requirements in terms of the Mining Charter.
So I think that there will be a percentage of investors that would be concerned. But by and large, I think a mature investor will understand that there is positioning in a negotiation process for an outcome, and it's the outcome that is going to be the most important.
It appears that we may get some certainty in the mining sector with this appeal pending. It obviously still has to be approved by the courts, but it's likely that the mining sector and its investors are going to have some clarity in the future. I'm Angelo Coppola for CGTN in Sandton, South Africa.